YouTubers, family and friends. We're out walking. I never had breakfast, but the butta, that's what the Filipinos call their little children, is butta. And Leonardo already ate a breakfast. Lizelle's out doing her sweeping and trimming chores this morning. Very beautiful flowers. They're just, I mean, you just plug them in the ground and they just thrive here. It's just amazing. So it's mostly cloudy this morning, but still beautiful. Still getting some sun. And we don't have much going on today. We're going to do a little bit of walking. But tomorrow we have plans to go to the city. We only go to the city maybe at the most twice per month, unless it's a special deal for something we need or something. But we try to get everything done in 1 or 2 trips at the most per month. And that's for, you know, we'll go to the big hardware store, City Hardware, or we'll go to the mall where they have several different, you know, big pharmacies and grocery stores and stuff like that. But most of the time we get most of our items that we need in the small village, a couple kilometers from our place here, Mapong. That's where we get most of our items we need. And that's where the farmer's market is, and there's all kinds of mom and pop shops. And the price is better. But there's some things I can't get around here, like a spark plug for my chainsaw, you know, stuff like that. So I go to the city for those things. So we try to stay buy from the locals as much as we possibly can. That's one thing I really love about the Philippines. There's lots of mom and pops businesses. Not like in the U.S. where the big corporations have driven out the mom and pops businesses and bankrupt them. That's what I really don't like about what happened in the U.S. And that happened, you know, through the 60s and 70s. It really started switching over to the big corporations, and it's terrible what has happened to the U.S. And the Philippines not like that, right? Just the logistics alone, they can't do it because there's 7,000 islands. You get lost so quick in the Philippines, which is perfect. That's what you want to do, is get lost and get into these small communities and where you can grow your food year round, your vegetables, your fruits, and grow your own chickens and cows or whatever meat that you want to grow, just like it was for centuries, right? And as long as you are smart and don't take things that the medical industry are telling you to take, and you just take things that God's green earth provides for you and stay off the pharmaceutical alchemy drugs, and you're going to be okay. Hi, buddy. How you doing? Boo you? Did you eat this morning? You ate lots, didn't you? We have tuna. The boys had tuna and beef sausage and eggs and mango fruits. So they had a real good breakfast. You want to start walking? You want to walk? What's your name? Yes. Okay. Love you. Say love you, mommy. Okay, buddy. Come on, Leo. Are you ready to go? So John is autistic, as you can see, and his mother died of cancer a few years back, about 12 years ago. So John will be with me for the rest of my life till I die, and he gets well cared for here. I have him in the pool twice every day. You know, there's a lot of challenges with the autistic person, and most everyone is different, right? Just like everyone is different, but there's different challenges for different autistic people. And so he can say a few words here and there, but for the most part, he's nonverbal. So he still has a good life, you know. He's with his family that loves him, and we don't subject him to, I mean, he had some ABA training when he was younger. You know, it gave him some tips on, you know, how to hold a fork and eat, and some speech training and stuff like that, but a lot of it never took, and some small things did take. But we had like 3 or 4 years of that ABA training when he was young, between the ages of like 3 to 6. But it just became so much. I mean, we had teams of people that would come in, all kinds of different therapists would come into the house. This is in the U.S., right? And they would do all kinds of activities with them, training and stuff. And like I say, some of it was beneficial, but most of it, I would say, was not beneficial. And for the price, it was terrible. I mean, the cost is huge. So the best thing is just to be with your own core family, and meet the challengers that they provide head on, and whatever God leads you to do with your child is what you should do, as long as you are with them every day and you love them, right? And I so love to be retired now, because I can spend all my time with my kids. You know, not only John, but I can spend my time with Leonardo, you know, and all that stuff I missed in my career that I had throughout my entire life, right? And that's why I highly recommend to have children in your retirement years. I mean, look at in the Bible, all these people in the Bible that were close to God, that lived for hundreds of years, right? They were kept having children when they were 300-400 years old. They were having children, right? What, buddy? What do you have? A leaf and a stick? Wow. Very cool. Yeah. He's having a good time. So he loves walking around with me and John. So anyways, we're located in northwest Mindanao of the Philippines. It's the largest island in the Philippines. And for those of you that don't know, there's only 3 states in the Philippines, right? The state of Luzon, that's in the north with the capital Manila. Then there's the Visayas in between. All the islands in the middle are the Visayas. And the biggest city of the Visayas is Cebu. Then there's Mindanao, the state of Mindanao, and that's where I live. And that's the furthest to the south. And it's 1,000 miles plus between the north and the south. It's like a world away. Mindanao is like a separate country from Luzon in the north. That's how far. I mean, Luzon in the north is pretty close to China, right? It's Taiwan and then China. So that whole skirmishes and stuff that they're having with the Chinese are all in the Luzon territory, right? And we're way away from all that. Good, buddy. Oh, he's having a good time. Where are you going? So anyways, that's why I love Mindanao also, right? It's the best place, especially north and the west part of Mindanao. There are some Muslim population here, but I've never had a problem with any Muslim or any Christian or any other person in the Philippines. They're, 99 out of 100 people here are awesome and friendly and loving and kind. You're not going to have a problem. I never have in all the years I've been here. Doesn't say might have a problem in the future, but I doubt it, because even if everything collapses in the world, the people here, they deal with poverty their entire lives. So there's no change for them, right? There's no change, zero. and they don't go crazy because they don't have their, well, a lot of people here are on their phones all the time, just like everywhere in the world, right? But the people would be affected the least here compared to the US. People in the US, after a week of not having internet, they just go absolutely bonkers. Probably half of them would take a suicide. I mean, this is how crazy mixed up in the head that most people are in the US. And they can't even imagine not having their internet or having their services. They can't survive for more than a few days, you know, without going to McDonald's or a fast food restaurant or instant everything, right? And that whole system's breaking down big time right now. It's all breaking down worldwide, from the shipping to next day deliveries to you name it. That whole system's breaking down. I mean, people can't even get parts for their cars anymore in the US. I mean, they can't even get their pharmaceutical drugs. They can't get nothing hardly anymore. It's all breaking down at a breakneck speed, big time. So you guys really need to open your eyes and look at it. I mean, God sent me here in the Philippines several years back, and for a good reason, right? If the grid completely goes down and no electricity, most people here don't have electricity anyways. And we have a power outage a couple times per week anyways, right? So we're used to it here. And the temperature is where if the power goes out for months or years, we can still survive just fine, right? Because the temperature is always between 65 and 85 degrees. Sometimes, and that's in the shade, of course. And, you know, sometimes it might get up to 90 in the shade on real hot times. Like right now, it's spring, first day of spring. So between now and through August, it'll get pretty hot. It'll be in between 80 and 90 probably most of the time. That's why everyone gets up 4 a.m., 5 a.m., get all your work done before 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. at the latest. Then you siesta the rest of the day until evening, and then it cools off again in the evening, and you can do things. So that's kind of the way it is around here all the time. So anyways, just keep that in mind. Here, there's so many things that you don't have to do that are enforced in the U.S. or these first world countries. There's so much taxation and fees and permits and licenses and all this crap that are enforced heavily in these first world countries that aren't here, right? Insurance requirements, I have zero insurance. So my costs are way, way low. So I can survive off of almost nothing, right? So that's the key. Get your costs as low as possible, but yet I have some of the modern conveniences still, at least until the entire system breaks down. I have Starlink for my internet service, right? That's 2,700 pesos per month. It's slightly higher than what the PDLT is. I think PDLT is like 2,300 per month, but I don't have outages. They do. They have tons of outages. And what else? I get Amazon delivered to my doorstep. I use mostly Lazada. It's called Lazada. It's like the Amazon of the Southeast Asia. So most of my stuff I get off of Lazada, but every once in a while, maybe once a month, I'll do a $50, because if you order up to $50 in the Philippines, you get free shipping. So I'll gather, several items that equal $50, maybe once a month, and then so it's free shipping and it's shipped right to my door. And that's, instead of in 2 to 3 days shipping, I get it in like 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes a week and a half, but it all depends, because they have warehouses now in the Philippines. Amazon does, right? So I get stuff a little quicker. But usually it's right around the 2-week area where I'll get my deliveries. And with Amazon, it's anywhere between 4 to 5 days to 10 days with Lazada. Yeah, so like I say, I have all the conveniences there is. I mean, there's plenty of fuel, gas stations, anything that you want you can get here. Most part, you don't even need subscriptions. I can go to especially in the rural areas, I can go to these pharmacies and get anything I want without a subscription. That's right. Well, maybe not anything, but most items that you need at a pharmacy, right? Sometimes they'll ask you, sometimes they won't ask you. So, like the other day, I got a whole case, a whole huge box of 100 tablets of amoxicillin, right? That's your lowest form of antibiotic. You know, once in a while, John will get an infection because that's one thing that it's a challenge with John, is that he can't control his bowel movement with his pee, but he can with his poop. When he needs to go poop, he goes to the toilet. But with his pee, he doesn't. He pees his bed, and then he lays in the pee until we can get up in the morning and change his sheets and give him a shower. But he starts to get, you know, little infections, or like almost like zits on his skin sometimes. So if it gets bad, I mean, we'll treat it the best we can with, you know, vinegar and just soap and water and stuff like that as best that we can. But once in a while, he gets a couple bad ones where we'll have to use some amoxicillin. He'll have to take amoxicillin. That's why we need it for the most part. But it's great to be able to. The freedom here is unbelievable, 100 times from what it is in the United States. I'm telling you, that absolutely is the case here. So that's another reason, you know, God will send you a place where he knows that you're going to be the happiest, because he knows we don't. So don't fight it. Just heed his word and do it right away. If he should tell you to leave or get out, because there's some real bad stuff coming. Just heard in the news this morning that the Tyson Foods, right? They're in these meat packing companies, chicken. I think it's mostly chicken, but I think it's other meats too. They fired all the American workers, closed the plant, and then moved the plant to New York and some of these sanctuary cities, and then they're hiring all migrants back. So they're laying off Americans to hire these illegal migrants, undocumented illegal migrants. So these companies, instead of paying $20, $30 an hour for their employees, now these illegal migrants, it's $10 to $15 an hour. You know what I mean? It's just it's not only criminal, it's inhumane, and if you're going to cause a civil war in the country, it's like they're trying to start it. They're doing everything in their power. The government and the corporations are doing everything in their power to cause an uprising so that it's a civil war. That's what's going on in the U.S. right now. What, hon?
Nothing. I'm done. Wash a dish.
That was a very good tuna you're cooking for the boys. Thank you for that.
I'm doing my best I can, being a good wife and a good mother.
Oh, really?
But I'm not perfect. God knows I'm not perfect.
No one perfect. Buddy, what are you doing? Oh, I'm gonna get you.
He likes walking with you and John.
Yeah, I know.
Did you eat many fish this morning? Yes, he did.
Yeah. The boys eat lots here. I mean, and like I say, we get fresh fruits and vegetables. Half the time we're growing it on our own property, and half the time we'll go to the farmer's market. And then we don't have a big bunch of meat chickens or egg chickens yet, but once I start getting a little more reserves, then we're gonna start a big, huge bunch of chickens and not only get our own supply of eggs, but also for the meat. And like right now, per month, I'll get like over 300 eggs per month. As I go directly to the chicken factory, and we pay about 4,000 pesos. That's like $80 for anywhere from 13 to 15 flats. There's 30 eggs on a flat. So, you know, we'll get between 10 and 15 flats. So well over 300 eggs per month, and that's because our diet for eggs is huge. We'll probably eat, each person in the house will probably eat between 2 and 5 eggs per day, something like that, right? Because that's your best form of natural, God-given protein, and it's good for your brain function, it's good for everything. The only problem we're having is that Leo, we can't get him to eat eggs. So, you know the way kids are. So, and there's a lot of stuff he eats now that he wasn't eating before, but we'll just keep introducing stuff, putting it on his plate, and just kind of ignoring it and just putting it on his plate, and he'll say, "Oh, what's this?" And then he'll try it and like it, right? Because he's so stubborn. If we try to force feed him, he won't have nothing to do with it, right? So, anyways, just a day in the life here, northwestern Mindanao, and like I say, there's no volcanoes, earthquake faults, or typhoons that hit this area. I've chosen this area way away from all that stuff, right? And I say I chose that area. Really, God chose it, because this is where my wife grew up and her family grew up when they were small children, right? So it just not luckily, God chose it, right? So it was just destiny that God put us in a place where there's none of these things. And as far as drought goes, a lot of these other smaller islands in the Visayas are having lots of drought right now, because this last rainy season there was less than half the rain of the usual rainy season. And the weathermen will say, "Oh, because it's El Nino or something like that." Well, it's all whatever. They have a name for everything, just like these diagnoses that doctors give. They come up with this crazy name for diagnosis of something that's normal. And then people saying, "Oh, you're going to need these drugs and these drugs for this diagnosis," right? It's all alchemy and witchcraft. That's all that stuff is. Don't pay no attention to it. They claim to be all high and mighty of authority of medicine, and all it is alchemy, witchcraft. Stay away from it. It's terrible, terrible, absolutely terrible for your body, terrible for your soul. So, if they put it this way, if they say you should be doing it or you should be taking it, don't do it. You'll be way better off, I guarantee you that. So anyways, I'll let you guys go. Just keep the faith, keep your fasting and your prayer going in Jesus' name. That's what it's all about. Love you guys. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.